So how do you invest if you're not a citizen of the United States of America or a resident? I keep getting a lot of comments from people in South America or the Caribbean or in Asia or Africa or in Canada, a bunch of different countries and continents asking me how they can invest because I talk about investing in the stock market and all these apps, and it sounds great when I talk about how index fund investing can help you to become a millionaire. But when you go to these apps and you try to sign up, it will ask you for a residential US address or a social security number or some form of ID. And if you're outside of the US, you won't have these. Now, usually most people give up at this step because they think that if they are not in the US, then they can't invest into US stocks or companies. And that's actually not true. And so in this video, I'll talk about how you can get around this, and I'll also explain why it may not be that easy to invest in US stocks or companies. Now, the biggest misconception here is that you can't invest in these US companies, and that's completely false. They want money. They want investors. As long as you have legit money, they want to take your money and use it to better their companies. So it's not that you can't invest in these US stocks or companies. It's just a little bit harder, and I'll talk about the options that you have in this video so you know what you can do if you are interested in investing in US stocks and companies, but you are a resident of another country. Now, you may also be wondering, or you may be saying, well, Eann, if they want investments and they want investors from just about anywhere, why do they make it so hard to invest in these companies and these stocks? And this is primarily, or at least one of the main reasons for this, is because of something called the Patriot Act. Now, this came about because of what happened on September 11, 2001 in New York, and wherever you are in the world, you know the history of that. And so they created this so that people who have money, which they would want to use to fund hurting other people, won't be able to take this money and invest it into US stocks or the stock market and then make even more money from this money and then use more money to hurt more people. So that's why when you try to sign up on these apps, they want a US residential address that can be verified. They'll want some type of US photo ID. They also want to know exactly who you are, and they want a social security number so they can know for sure who you are, that you're a real person, and know exactly where you are. Now, as it pertains to investments, the Patriot Act basically says that any brokerage in the US that wants to accept investments from anyone outside of the US has to take that person through a very thorough identification procedure. Now, this way they can, without a doubt, know exactly who this person is and make sure this person isn't trying to invest illegal money or anything like that. Now, before I tell you about all the brokerages that will allow you to invest into US companies if you are a resident of another country, just a quick reminder here, I spend a lot of time researching this information and recording these videos for you guys, which is completely free, and all I ask in return is that you give this video a thumbs up, especially if you keep coming back and watching these videos as you find the content on my channel valuable. I'll really appreciate it, and of course it's 100% free to give this video a thumbs up. It won't cost you anything. Now, secondly, if you like the content and you do keep coming back, be sure to subscribe. I found out that 95% of my viewers are unsubscribed, so be sure to subscribe with the notifications on. That way you never miss the updates of any future videos that I post. Now, with all that said, let's jump right into the brokerages that will allow you to invest in the US stock market if you live in another country. So there's this website that I found, it's called stockbrokers.com, and there was an article published just a couple of days ago, and it's titled Best International Brokers for Stock Trading in 2022, and there are 3 options here for you. You may be able to search and find other options as well, but after my research, I thought that the 3 on this list were the best out of all I could find online. Now, the first option is called Interactive Brokers, and this is available in 184 countries. And I really like this because they are boasting 0 commission trades. Now, you can also go and check out their website and see if this is the best option for you. But here is the list of over 180 countries. If you are living or if you're a resident of any of these 180 countries on this list right here on the screen right now, then you can, and it says here at the end, you can, if you are a resident of any of these countries, you can open an account with Interactive Brokers and invest in US stocks. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that they're just going to accept your application. As I mentioned before, because of the Patriot Act, they will require that you show a form of ID or you go through a very thorough identification process, just the same, so they can validate who you are, just to make sure that you're not a bad person and you're not trying to invest illegal money or anything like that. Now, before I continue with the other options on this list, I just want you guys to know that the security isn't the only reason why it's so hard to invest in US stocks. So there's also the complexity of language issues, regulation, and some other complexities. And because of this, are these added issues, a lot of brokers just choose to not offer international investing because it would be a lot more work for them. And so what you'll find is that only some of the bigger investment brokers will find it valuable to do all this extra work. Now, another important thing to take into consideration here is also the tax implications of investing into US stocks. So dividends are usually taxed at around 30%, and you may not pay capital gains taxes if you're not in the US, but they may be required wherever you are. And also, if your country has a treaty with the US, then that could also potentially save you some money on these taxes as well. So it's a bit more complex than just signing up and immediately trading, but it is still possible. Also, not all brokers will have a low barrier to entry. So some may require that you invest a minimum of $25,000 or more. So you definitely want to take a look at all the options here to see which one works best for you. Now, the next option on this list is TradeStation, and they allow you to invest in stocks. They also boast commission-free trading. You can invest in stocks, ETFs, and you have over 2,000 commission-free ETFs that you can trade. And you also can do options, futures, even crypto, mutual funds, bonds. So you have access to a lot of stuff with TradeStation. Now, I mentioned the minimums required to invest before, and if you go on the website, you'll realize that the minimum deposit can be any amount. So you can get in here very easily, and they also have mobile apps or a desktop app that you can use. Now, I will say, be sure to take a look at the fees though before you commit to any of these trading platforms, just to make sure it's worth it for you. Now, TradeStation is available in over 150 countries, and here is the list. If you are a resident of these countries on this list, then you can sign up with TradeStation and you can open an account and invest into US stocks or companies. Now, the next option here is Firstrade, and Firstrade is available in just 21 countries. So if you're in any of these 21 countries on the list right here, you can take a look at Firstrade, as that may be a really good option. They offer 0 commissions and 0 option contract fees. They also allow retirement accounts, and you can trade stocks, ETFs, options, mutual funds. And if you're in any of the 21 countries on this list, this is another great option. Now, finally, there is another option, and this is Charles Schwab. With Charles Schwab, you could actually be a resident of around 30 or over 30 countries, and you can invest in US stocks. So that is also another option to take into consideration. And if you're in any of these countries on this list right here, you can go ahead and do that. So I'll leave a link below to stockbroker.com and to this page that has this article. So you guys can go there and you can look at each of the options that's available for your country. And then you can look at the fees, the minimum requirements, the different investment options or accounts that they offer. Like, for example, can you invest in stocks only, or can you invest in stocks and ETFs? Can you invest in a retirement account? And then that will give you a really good idea of which one of these brokerages is best for you. So without making this video too long and boring you guys, I just wanted to quickly share how you could invest in US stocks or US companies if you're not a citizen or resident of the US. And also, if you don't have $25,000 to start, there are options here that have no minimum requirement, so you can definitely start investing. So if you've been watching my videos for some time and you really like my investment videos, but you've never been able to invest in US stocks, you can definitely start doing this right now. So comment below, let me know what country you're in or what country you're a resident of, and which of these options you think is best for you and why you think so. And definitely let me know if this is something that you've been looking or searching for, and if you're now going to take that step and start investing into US stocks and companies. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found some value in this video. If so, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. And as always, all the best with making money and investing. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.